Hello students, welcome to e-learning with Divine Public School Navsari. We are studying the second chapter in economics, that is indicators of growth, and we are in this chapter we are going to continue the same topic, that is indicators of development. We have already completed the two topics, that is growth rate of national income and growth rate of per capita income. So we have seen in growth rate of national income and per capita income that it is very difficult to calculate. Then after, there are many points which are makes that the data is not absolute, it is only the estimate we can say. As well as you find that per capita income in that population is been calculated every 10 years, where national income is calculated every years. So every year national income has been divided by the same year, previous time the data which has been calculated for population, like census report 2011. So at current data which is not been taken up for population, and it is not give the exact figure or exact amount of national income which has been known. So this is how there are limitations in growth rate of national income and growth rate of per capita income. So that makes comparison very difficult. So they have founded the third one, that is physical quality of life index, that is PQLI. So let's see, we are going to start with this both, that is physical quality of life index and human development index. So physical quality of life index we are going to talk first. So in that you find that quality of life, what a human being depends. So human being depends upon three different types of quality of life, and three different standards are being given up, so depending on the person what consumes. So first is, it talks about the consumption of fuel, food and non-durable goods. So a person can be consuming food also, fuel also, as well as we can say non-durable goods. Second, the consumption of durable and semi-durable goods. Third, we can say consumption of services during a period of time by a person or a group of people, or it can say a person can be consuming not only good but services also alone, or we can say with a group of people together they are attaining this particular consumption. So we can say these three standards will let you know the standard living of particular person, and that determines their physical quality of life. Now, what are the things which are included in physical quality of life? First is food proportion. Now food proportion talks about that calories, protein, fats per person, or how much fat, calories and protein should be consumed. Second, it talks about the health and medical services. Now in that health and medical, it talks about the, that is per thousand, or we can say per lakh people, how many doctors are available. So in a particular region, per 1 square kilometer of area, how many doctors are available. So like this, differently they try to calculate that in a country how many per lakh people or per thousand people how many doctors are available. Then after, you find that housing and clothing. So how many number of houses are there per houses, how many average people are living, so that data are also can be known. Then after, education and entertainment. Education, it talks about the how many percentage of people are attaining their primary education or secondary education, so how many people are educated. As well as entertainment means how many people are having television at their home, or how many people are going to theaters, or that particular also help us to know the standard of living of people. Then after, transport and communication and information services, like you find that what are the how many roads are there, how many kilometers of road does a country have, how many railway lines does a country have. That you find that how many telephones per person are being there and how they are using up. So in a particular home, how many phones are there. So all that particular data are being taken up. Then after, energy. So per person, how much energy consumption is being required, how much daily consumption of energy has been required by per person, that is been known. Then after, you find that population having pure drinking water. So how many places does the pure drinking water is available, and how many people are consuming that pure drinking water. Then after, you find that average life expectancy. Now in that, it talks about from from the time of birth, you find till the death how many number of years does a person live. So it is an average measurement of person living in particular country. It is talks about 68 years for Indian people. At present we can say 65 years. Then after, you find that infant mortality rate. Now infant stands like it is a baby, of aging 0 to 1 year, it is less than 1 year. So before attaining the first year, how many infant, or you can say babies, are getting died? So that mortality means death rate. So infant mortality rate is been known to us. Then after, lastly, drainage facilities. So what is the sanitation hygiene facility which have been kept in our areas? So all these things helps to know the physical lifestyle of the people in particular country. So if this all things are being known to us, we can help, we can easily measure PQLI. Now, what are the things which, or what are the determinants or elements of PQLI? First, we can say it talks about the living standard of poor people. What is the development? Economic development can attain by the development of standard of living of poor people. Or we can say, if all the products which citizen requires, it has been fulfilled, we can say that is also called as economic development. Then after, Morris, who's a person, has presented this PQLI index, or we can say physical quality life index, which is present by whom? Morris. Now this particular person name you have to remember, because it can come for 1 marks in your MCQs or 1 marks sentences, so you have to remember. Then after, you find that there are 3 standards which determines the quality of life, which are as under. First is the literacy level, or we can say the extent of education. So how many people have attained the education? Second, you find that life expectancy talks about the how on an average people lives, or how many years the people live, that is been done. Third, infant mortality rate. I have told you in the previous slide, that is, you find that babies before attaining 1 year, you find they are getting dead. So that death rate of infant also is been known. So literacy, it is the percentage of population educated. So how many percentage of population educated from the total population, that determines the education level of country. Life expectancy, it is the total number of years a child lives from the birth till the death, that is called as what? Average life expectancy. Thirdly, we can find per thousand baby, how many number of babies are dying before completing first year, it is infant mortality rate. So these 3 factors are being taken up into consideration. Why only these 3 factors are taken? So for that, we are going to know the reason. First, they are all dependable data. They are dependable data of these factors of all countries. You find that every country has all these factors, and that is the dependable data which help us to know. Second point says that it shows us the result, it directly gives us the data or the output, which does not show any efforts. Thirdly, we can say these are output based. It is output based, and hence it can justify the standard of living of people, and helps to compare from one country to another country. So that's why these 3 data are being taken in PQLI. Now let's study about how formulation of PQLI is been done, or we can say physical quality of life index. So it says that every indicators, that is this 3, literacy rate, life expectancy, and infant mortality rate, given the weight of 100. So this 3 has given 100 weight each. Then after, you find that on the basis of their performance, their country is being graded. The country will be now given grade out of 0 to 100. How? They will take total of these 3, that is, they will sum up, they will add it up, and then after they will divide it by 3 to get an average. So after 300, how much marks, how much thing is there, then after they will divide it by 3, so they get an average. So it will come between 0 to 100. Now this ranking shows that of each country shows the physical quality life index. Now when calculating in this particular PQLI, what are the things we should know? That suppose you have calculated, so closer to 100, better performance of, it shows that the country is having better performance. When if it is closer to 0, you can say the country is having bad performance, or it is not economically developed. Then after, you find that this particular grade will be always between 0 to 100. Fourthly, you find that this helps us to compare between the states of a country as well as 2 different countries together. So this PQLI help us to know about the 2 states, 2 regions, 2 countries. So like that it help us to know. Then after, if higher is the PQL, you can say the more is the economic development. If lower is the PQL, that is lesser is the economic development. That is about, that is higher, that is close to 100, we can say it is having good economic development. If it is closer to 0, it is having less economic development, it is underdeveloping. It is above 50 or more than 50, ranging from 60 to 80, we can say it is having developing countries. Now, what are the positive aspects? It says that it includes these three factors which help us to know the standard of living of human life. That's why this literacy expectancy ratio is taken up second. It gives us the better index as compared to national income and per capita income. Thirdly, it helps us that economic with lesser drawbacks. This indicator has economic development with lesser drawbacks. It shows the drawbacks, or we can say limitations, are less compared to national income and per capita income. Also, you find that this comparison help us to know between the countries, between the different group of countries, as well as different states of a same country also. Whereas in national income it does not happen, you cannot calculate from one state to another state, but here we can calculate. So here PQLI is a more reliable one, flexible data. Then after, we can create PQLI for urban rural areas. Like we can compare, like taking a country India, in that we can divide it into rural urban areas, and what we can find, we can make a comparison, as well as we can make male female comparison for this also. So this comparison can be done, whereas we cannot find in the particular national income and per capita income, because it is a total production of all the three sectors over a particular time period. But whereas here we can make a particular time period, in that literacy rate, life expectancy, we can know even male life expectancy, male literacy rate, female life expectancy, female literacy rate, urban area, rural area, all these things we can compare for a same country itself also. So we can know how the different states physical quality of life is been increasing. So this were the positive impact. Now what are the limitations here? First, it talks about, it takes only three aspects only, where we can find, to get a correct picture we have to include other factors also. Other factors, like we can say standard of living, we can say gender ratio, different index, poverty level is also there. Then after, you find that average of three aspects of a country does not show the backwardness or prominence of each indicator. Now it talks about, like when you are taking average of these three indicators, when you're doing this average, what is happening up? This is not exact, or this is not the most important thing for every human life, we can say. So depending upon the situation it works, and that's why it does not show the true background also, nor the true high image of that particular person. So it is not a proper indicator, therefore it cannot help for average basis. Second, if a country's PQLI is high, suppose a developed country is having a PQLI which is high, but it cannot generalize that economic development is also high. We cannot say that economic development is high. For example, suppose we talk our physical life qualities have been increased from year time to time because of this technological era in India. So you find that our human development report from 2000, we can say it has been increased, but still we are developing country. We cannot say we are economically developed countries. So like that we can say. As well as we are growing up, we can say other countries are also growing, so we cannot attain that particular economic development fast. Then after, it is not right to give equal weightage. Now all these three, like depending upon the average life expectancy is there, literacy rate, it is depends. Like suppose a poor people is there, so poor people is having a problem of basic fulfilling the basic necessity. Will that particular able to fulfill his child education? No. So this lacks things. So certain situation depends, so we cannot give everything as 100 same importance in a human life. It is depending upon their situation. That's why the equal weightage should not be given here. Then after, it talks about that suppose the growth income is high, suppose the growth rate is very high in PQLI, but we cannot, but it is also ignoring some of the important factors which can be possible, which can be added in here in this particular thing. So if a country is growing up, it is having good PQLI, but you find that still there are certain factors which are being ignored. And lastly, you find that PQLI of rich countries like USA, if it is at a lower rate, because average life cannot increase beyond particular limit. Now why it is at lower rate, though the country is developed like America, Russia, China, America, Russia, you can find. So but what is happening up, that it is at a lower rate, but you find that they have certain limit in their average life. As the years have passed up, you find that our average life has decreased over the period of time. Before, we find that humans were able to achieve the age of 100, but it slowly decreased to 90s, you slowly decreased to 80s. Yeah, so this is how. And in India, you find that average life expectancy as per 2014 is 68 years, but currently if I see at for 2020 it can be near to 64 or 65 of years of age. So this is how there are certain limitation in physical quality life also. I hope you have been clear with the picture of physical quality of life. It is based on three factors. Average of that is been taken up, and basis on that we try to give up grade for different countries. So it is very easy to calculate and know. And if suppose it is very near to 100, it is closer to 100, it is economically developed. It is closer to 0, it is economically underdeveloped. So this is how we can try to grade the countries and know, nothing else. So all these are the positive and the limitations have been there. I hope you have been clear with all the points.